There's a million toys for a million different boys. There's only one that I like. There's a million toys for a million different boys.
Okay, well, this is the race bike for this season, 2010. This year I've gone with the giant Anthem X. You can see it's the full suspension one. Aluminium frame this year. Had a few troubles with the carbon one last year, so we've gone for the aluminium one. But got it down to just under £22, 21 and a bit pounds now, so quick rundown of what it's got on it. Start at the front end up here. The frame is the standard frame, nothing's changed on that, but pretty much everything else has been changed. Some of the aluminium bars and alloy stem there, pretty much the same weight as the carbon stuff, but obviously you get a little bit more safety with the aluminium bars. Coming down to the brakes, got the new Hope Race X2 brakes on here. They are about as light as you can get for a race brake. Really nice. I mean, fantastic little levers on them. They're all cut out, machined aluminium, you can see there. And the lever pull is absolutely gorgeous. So those are the lightweight brakes on there, and you can see I've got the Hope discs as well. So really nice piece of kit. So then coming across up here as well, using bar ends. I like these for climbing. Seem to give the bike a bit more pull as you go up the hills, which is always good. And they don't weigh a lot. These are the Eastern carbon ones, the full carbon bar end. So they're about 60 grams each. Got the lockout here on this side for the forks, and I've got a pair of the new DT Swiss World Cup forks. So this lockout is brilliant. It's completely locked when it comes in this position. The forks are absolutely rigid, and these are the forks. 28mm stanchions, carbon crown, carbon legs, carbon dropouts. About as light as you can get, I think. They're coming in probably at the lightest cross-country fork at the moment, 100mm travel, but absolutely rigid as anything. So loads of mud clearance on that as well, which is really good. I mean, it's a big carbon arch on there, but as you can see, a lot of mud clearance on that end. Everything else component wise is all XTR stuff, using the rapid fires. I like these. They fit nicely, you can get your hand nicely around the bars, good position, they shift up from both angles, which is good. Onto the wheels now. Got the Stan's ZTR Olympic rims on there with DT Swiss ceramic 190 hubs as well, so really light tyre setup, which is really important. And then on the rims, running a tubeless tape inside the rim means that I can actually run the Schwalbe Racing Ralph tyre on there, but this is just a standard tyre, it's not a tubeless one, so they weigh about 480 grams, but running the solution in the tyre with that means I can have a really light tyre setup, and you don't need the double walled thickness of a standard tubeless tyre, so that's really light as well. It's coming down through the frame. I've gone for a fairly stable seat. I've got the Ciudad Italia carbon rail, titanium railed seat on there. I've got the race face seat post. Now these are fairly heavy duty, but with a full suspension bike you'll be sitting down a lot of the time, so you can pedal through the corners a bit more. But one of the side effects of that is you're sitting on the saddle a bit more. You need a slightly more stable saddle, maybe something a little bit stronger than normal, so you don't snap it off if you are sitting down that much. Coming down here, obviously got the standard Fox RP23 shock on there and the giant Pro pedal system, but like I say, I've changed pretty much everything on here. Got the XTR cranks and the SPD pedals, but I've actually changed the spindle. This is a titanium spindle in here on the pedal now. This comes from thaibolts.co.uk. This is a fairly new item, and it takes about 60 grams off the weight of the SPD pedals, so it starts to bring them in line with things like the crank brother egg beaters possibly the look pedals as well. I love the feel of the XTR pedal, but it would have always been a little bit too heavy, so this is a good compromise. Coming down to the bottom bracket, if you can see that in there, it's got a Chris King ceramic bottom bracket in there. These are really nice. Anyone who's used a Chris King headset before will know that their components are pretty much the best out there, and this bottom bracket, fairly expensive, but just runs really smooth. So then, yeah, coming to the back wheel, same again, using obviously the Hope brakes in there. One of the great things about all the Hope components is that every bolt on it is titanium. Just a nice finish, keeps the weight down. You don't get any of that corrosion stuff on it as well, which is nice. Again, Racing Ralphs at the rear. Brilliant tyre, absolutely fantastic. Probably the best for UK racing, when it's not super muddy. Obviously it's super muddy, a little bit more grip than that, but that's probably one of the best tyres out there. And then coming down to this side, XTR Shadow rear Mech on there, obviously rear cassette, XTR front chain set, but running it as a 2-ring setup. Taken off the granny ring on there. I generally don't use that much, so just taken that off just to save a bit more weight. So I've got a 2-ring setup on there at the moment. I'm going to be looking to change those chain rings. If I'm running them 2-ring, I need to have a slightly smaller gear on there, but that's a nice setup at the moment. And obviously using the Shimano XTR chain as well. I've tried using SRAM before, but I've had a few problems with that, so gone back to the XTR ones, which is good. And then on top of that, pretty much every other bolt on the bike is titanium to save some weight. Carbon bottle cage on there as well. I tried putting a carbon swing arm on it, well, not swing arm, but the actual rocker, which is off the carbon frame, and did a direct comparison, weighed this and the carbon one together, and they're exactly the same weight. I think the carbon one has to be a little bit more beefed up to take the support points in here, so the extra bit of material means that it's no lighter than the aluminium one. So I've stuck with the aluminium one. It's probably a slightly safer option, less chance of it failing maybe, but all looks pretty good. So that's it for this year. That's the race bike. That's pretty much my view most of the time. Seems to go well. But review wise, I mean, the Pro pedal on the giant Anthem X, probably the best off-road suspension system at the moment. Pretty much don't even need the Pro pedal system turned on the RP23 shock. Leave that off most of the time, in fact, and just let the suspension do the work. Seems to work really well. But the Swiss DT forks, I mean, if you're ever looking for a light pair of suspension forks, they are as light as they get. They are the nicest forks out there. So hope that's been interesting to you. That's the race bike for this season. Seems to do quite well. Won the first round of the national champs up at Sherwood on it, so fingers crossed for the rest of the season. I hope it takes me a few more victories.